Did you have a good Christmas?
Had a good Christmas. Yeah, good time with family. Fell on a good week. Fell on a good day.
Do you have just just overall injury updates after coming out of that game, etc.?
Yeah, with LC, not optimistic that it's going to turn out well for this season, but we're still gathering information on that one. Otherwise, thought we came out of the game pretty clean. Sam Hubbard this week, well, it's a long week, so we'll see where he's at day to day. Those are really the two, unless I'm missing anybody else.
I guess y'all downgraded Hayden on Friday. What
Yeah.
happened there?
He had a good week. Ultimately that just came down to coaching decision to give it one more week instead of playing up there in the cold when he was feeling really good. But I thought if we could give it another 9 days, that he'd be in great shape going into this week. So very optimistic about him. I think he's got a great mindset right now, health-wise, of how he feels. And I'm so excited to get him back in the mix and feel good about this week.
And Trey and Tyler had no issues kind of coming out of that game.
Yeah. Tyler, like I mentioned during the game, just struck it one time, and that wasn't a good feeling. But other than that, they've come out clean.
How well was LC playing from your perspective when he was healthy before the injury happened?
Yeah, he was doing a nice job for us, giving us a great veteran presence. Just the communication over there with Alex and the tight ends. I think he did a really nice job for us.
How have you seen Akeem Adeniji grow since you've drafted him, especially over the past?
He's played a really good role for us this year. He's been the backup swing tackle. He's played in those big tight end packages for us. I think that just the more he's played in this league, the more he's seen and understands what the expectations are. And so, again, he's continued to grow for us.
Same with Hakeem Adeniji, him being injured half of last year and playing different spots up front. I mean, how much can you appreciate having someone like him who's so versatile doing what he does?
Yeah, that's the life of a guy who's hasn't won the starting job. Is you got to be able to play multiple positions, and you got to be able to practice multiple positions in the scout team, take advantage of every opportunity you've gotten. Obviously, he's been a starter for us at guard. Previously, he started at tackle for us, so he's been able to play a couple different positions for us.
What was it about the way that he was playing with preseason and the stuff you guys did earlier in the year that made you say tackle is where we want to keep him and the spot be for him? Did you see something there in him at that point?
He had the flexibility to do it. Just really where we had our bodies lined up, with Jackson playing guard, adding Max Sharping, and Trey Hill being a center guard flex for us. We need some tackle bodies, and he's shown that he was capable of doing that.
It seemed to, not that you'd be surprised, but were you really happy with the way it seemed to fit him as he got out there? Because it seemed to be like, okay, this looks a little more natural for him.
Akeem's a smart guy. He played a lot of, I think, a 4-year starter at Kansas as a left tackle. So that probably feels like his most natural position. And so, again, that's where he settled in for us this year.
I guess with him now being the start right tackle to make Isaiah Prince, is that be the swing tackle?
We haven't made any determinations about any of the roles that anybody's going to play going in this game.
How important is this time of year a guy with experience? Just somebody like Isaiah came in obviously last year with the playoff run. How important is that at this point for anybody that's going to come in and fill a role that you better have experience because these stages are going to be big?
I think that's what's been so great about our team is so many guys have gotten that experience, whether it was this year or last year, whatever it is. We really feel like the guys who maybe haven't played starting roles for us feel ready when their number's called. And so whatever position that is, that's where I've got a great comfort level in our team right now that this team is battle-tested. The depth is battle-tested. And so anybody that's called upon, is going to step up to the plate and be a strong part of the unit for us.
What do you do this week to kind of correct issues that led to the interceptions on Sunday?
I don't think those are any major issues. There are two things that popped up in the game that are things that we can talk about and fix on our own, but nothing that I'm concerned about in the future.
Overall, what's your first impression facing a guy like Josh Allen?
He's a great quarterback. We've seen him all year on the offense side of the ball because of our crossover tape with that division and just them playing our opponents, our division, us playing their division. We probably crossed over with Buffalo 7 or 8 times this year. And so we've gotten a full dose of what he does. Really exciting player, extends plays. The play's never dead. He's got the arm strength to make every throw that he can possibly make. Probably one of his best throws this year was backed up against Pittsburgh, I think, on the third play of the game when he threw a 97-yard touchdown. So again, he's a big-time playmaker. All hands on deck when you're trying to corral him in the pocket and having to cover downfield, and brings an element to the quarterback run game. That can be a challenge as well. So there's a lot of things that they do offensively that you've got to prepare for and be ready for.
I know you guys have talked about how confident you guys are in yourselves and what you guys are capable of. Do you guys relish a game against a team like Buffalo, who a lot of people have considered to be one of the favorites to kind of get where y'all were last year?
I don't think our players know that we're going to play good teams every single week, and they're ready for the test. They're ready for the challenge. You know, you've got to go through these types of games to be tested and be ready for the playoffs, and this team hasn't backed down from anybody yet. And again, we're excited to have them coming into our house on Monday night with our fans, and our players will be rested and ready to go.
What do you like about Eli Apple this season?
Always competes, you know, and he's out there and has made a lot of great plays for us this year and last year. And so again, as people test him, he steps up to the challenge, brings great energy on the field, and that's critical to have in one of your starting corners.
And Cam Sample was in for all but 3 snaps last week. How has he done the last couple of weeks with Trey out first and then Sam?
So consistent. You know, I think he's just a very reliable player for us, plays like a veteran, can play a lot of different roles. The team has got a ton of confidence in him. The coaching staff's got a lot of confidence in him. Carries himself very well. You know, he's a great piece to have up front that can be versatile and have the endurance to play the snaps that he's played. That's critical to have up front, especially at this part of the year. And so he's been a very reliable player for us.
Does this feel a lot like maybe the Kansas City week last year? You have like an elite, an ultimate opponent in the regular season. I mean, what's that? Is there any similarity?
It doesn't. Last year feels like last year, and this year feels very different. It's just where we're at this point in the season. I think our guys really get excited by these opportunities, and like I said, we haven't backed down from a challenge yet. We're really excited about what's coming at us on Monday, and so again, our guys got to put together a good week work and be ready to go on Monday night.
You mentioned how hard it is each week, and then when you rattle off a win streak like this, what does that show about your team? What is that? Where do you rank that accomplishment? That you get up to this high number, and like you said, you're facing kind of a call.
Well, that's what it's taken up to this point. Had we done any less, you know, we'd really be behind the 8 ball here. And so these guys have just done a great job of focusing on the next 7 days that's in front of them and not worrying about what we did the previous weeks, not what's in front of us beyond the next game. That's what really impresses me with this team. You just feel that, you know, and there's times I bring that up just to make certain, but it's overkill really, because I know our guys understand how to approach the season and just focus on what's right in front of us, and don't worry about the other mess. Don't let people steer you down the other road. What's important is beating Buffalo on Monday night and being as prepared as we possibly can for them. And I really feel like that's where our guys' heads are at right now.
Does it make it easier?
Go ahead.
You push different buttons as the win streaks get long. I mean, like you mentioned it, you kind of you feel like you don't need to mention it, or you don't need it. I mean, does that feel different like that? Where you
No.
plan differently, or no, you specifically approach it.
Yeah, you know, I go into every week just with the messaging that I want for that week, and I really don't think further down the road. The same message I'm giving the players, I give to myself. You know, let's just focus on what's right in front of us, and whatever message needs to get to the players at that point. That's what we focus on, and then we move on to the next game. And I feel like everybody that's in this building has really had that mindset, and it served us well up to this point.
Does it make it easier to keep the guys focused, knowing you've won 7 straight, because that is tough to do in this league, when you haven't played that perfect game, where you have that perfect second half against the Buccaneers, and the perfect first half against the Patriots, but still plenty to work.
I think our guys see that there's been areas that we can improve at certain portions of the game, whether that's a first half in 1 week, a second half in 1 week, on one side of the ball at a certain moment. But again, I think that our guys have a high degree of confidence right now, and now the preparation just has to meet that confidence, and that can be a good recipe, a good combination when we get on the field. And so again, we've got to put forth that effort this week to get ourselves ready.
When you have an offensive line injury and you're assessing how to handle it, is it realistic that somebody who's, say, in their early 40s and has been working for Amazon would be able to come in off the street and actually help you? Is that something that you even would do?
We got good people in the building that we trust.
What about any younger options? I mean, you guys do have some, no disrespect to Andrew, but I mean, if you guys, with LC not being optimistic for the year, would you want to go get another addition? Would you feel comfortable with who you have in the building? What does that look like from a preliminary standpoint?
Well, I think our scouting department does a great job of always evaluating our options. And so I always trust them. If they bring somebody to you and say, hey, take a peek, we'll always do that. But again, we've got guys that we've had in here developing, working in our system, that we've got a high degree of trust in, that can help us do the things that we need to do this year.
You were trying to get a timeout on that play where LC got hurt. How hard is that to not play that one?
Yeah, that's football. You know, if they hadn't had their earmuffs on, then maybe they could have heard. But that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Is there something specifically you didn't like about that play that you wanted to get a timeout there?
We were in a check system there, and the clock was just running low.
Going Saturday one week and Monday the next, I guess Buffalo's in the same boat, but is it helpful this time of year just to have kind of a little extra time?
We'll take it if we get it, you know, and so both teams are operating the same way. I think it is good at this point in the year for our guys to get an extra day to rest, really 2 days almost. So we're taking advantage of that, the physical side of things, to make sure that our guys are prepared for Monday night. And then, again, that's where you do got to factor in. We got 2 games in 6 days, and so we want our guys to feel as good as they can when they walk on the field Monday night, and knowing that they're going to put in the mental energy they need to prepare themselves that way, take care of themselves. But that is where we're at this point in the season, is making sure that they're well rested, and the guys that need the treatments to be able to get through another game are able to do that.
Did you like Stephon Diggs when you watched his tape coming out of college?
I did, out of Maryland. Yeah, so I was in Miami. He was an explosive player. I don't remember too many of my notes, but I can picture. I can picture talking about him, and yeah, he played in Maryland. Was a great player there. I'll have to check my notes for exactly what I said beyond that, but.